Yeah, hi. For the last few days, I've been thinking about ways I can get my sample sort to be efficient. Specifically, the bit where you do the bin selection, that you've got a number and you have to work out which bin it goes in, and the fact that that is very slow. Let me draw it. Okay, so suppose we've got a big array, like millions of samples. It's going to get divided into bins at different sizes, and when it's a sample sort, this bin boundary is decided by some value in the array. This is the smallest of our bin dividers, that's the second smallest, and so on. When you pick up a number during sorting, you say, I'm going to grab one that's here that doesn't belong in this bin. We have to work out which bin it goes into. Discover it's this one. How do you do it? So the way I've implemented it is I've said, let's just do 8 bins only, so it's a really small number. Then I could put all 8 of those values into one sort of simmed register and do parallel less thans. So it can work out which bin is the last one that it's less than, and it's reasonably efficient. So in code it looks something like this. There's these pivots, and they've just been loaded into one register, 32 by 8 slice. And then further down, when we do the comparison, we do it in here. Do some greater than, less than stuff. There's only one of them that's within the 2 bounds. Then we have to do some work, pulling out, trailing zeros, and so on. And it's not that quick. And so if we increase the number of these bins, and there are more of them, then we get stuck. I can't do my load and parallel compare. What I'm actually doing is saying, this value here, I compare it against that one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and find the spot where it's not, where it's greater than one and less than the other. And then we decide that's the bin. So therefore it is a linear search in term, well, maybe you could do a binary search if you wanted, but it's certainly not just a constant. So what we'd really want is be able to take a value from here, apply a really short, simple function that then gives the index of the bin we want to go to. And you know what that is, and I'm terribly, terribly disappointed, but that is radix. That is using a radix. So, yeah, I'm going to move to radix sort. In fact, last night I just typed it in. I shifted to doing 256 bins in radix sort. So I'm disappointed because my feeling is if you're going to do something, try and find something slightly new and unique, something interesting, and run with it, see how you can go. And radix sort is like generic. I have got one change, though, is that if you look at it, let's say this is our value v. This is just the value that we're looking at here. I'm going to do that thing where I scan through the array and find out, this is like 32 bits, right? There's 32 of those, just pretend. And find out which of these are not varying in anything, and so then we begin taking our radix, taking 8 values from that point onwards. So there's still that little optimization which isn't normally there. In the radix sort, I'm still just using the system I made for the sample sort, in which you do that, and rather than swapping 2 values, you take that one, insert it in there, then find the next, until it loops back to where you started. So you're not doing as many redundant operations. So it's an in-place radix sort. I'll show you what it looks like in performance. So it's the red line, previously sample sort. Blue is the quick sort, which it is now less than, other than very small arrays. And the reason I wanted to show you this is it's got this weird blip, or a zigzag. And again, even more pronounced on the... Actually, sorry, let me scroll across. Even more pronounced in the ascending segments section. In terms of overall performance, yeah, it is a lot better. Other than this blip, it's doing better than scar sort. Sort of could be down near the crumbs, and not as good as the quicksort implementation from NumPy. Other than these two, if we just look at the extremes, okay, I'm still finding the unused bit values and jumping ahead, so it's fast. Reversing aborts early because I'm still doing a scan through first to find the what that shift is. So rather than finding pivot values, it's still doing a scan, checking if it's already reversed. And near sorted is slow, especially for smaller ones. Although remember, I've dropped off scar sort, which will be much slower than any of these. That may be something to look into, but it's because it's having to manage 256 bins no matter what. Once you get to the higher numbers, it looks to be performing a bit better. Right, so I want to investigate what's going on here. It'll be something to do with the fact that we're dividing by powers of 2, and these array sizes are powers of 10, so some of them, I don't know, cache maybe. Let's have a look. So what I'll do, I'll run it for the 10 million case, the 1 million, and the 100,000, and we can inspect... No, hang on, we want to do... Yeah, those three will do. And we'll inspect what's happening with the CPU. So So I'm looking at the 1 million one first, which is the low one. That's when it's operating as expected. This is going to be like our baseline. So let's just see how the thing runs in general, and then we'll try and see what's different in the other two. So top, we've got, okay, 60% of its time is spent in the partition. Okay. Then we've got the base cases, and it's doing a bit of 32 or 16, which is interesting. I've got a 64 sorting network as well, which is not being used. So I guess it's just dividing down to 32 most of the time. And that's broadly it. Okay, so let's have a look at the partition. That's where everything's happening. Initializes a copy of the bins, which typically takes no time. Okay, now I should point out how this works. I've been given a radix shift and the bins to put stuff in. The radix shift is used to get the index quickly, and that takes no time, which is good. Right, we're spending, 400 milliseconds, which is more than half the time selecting one bin, that's a memory read, and doing the swap, which is 2 reads, 2 writes. There'll also be some bounds checks in there, so to speed things up, I could probably go to Plan 9 assembly and start toying with it there to avoid it. But again, we're not trying to optimize this one this time. We're trying to understand what that massive blip is. Okay, let's do it for the 10 million and see what's changed. And where is the base case? We've got... It's only using 8 sorting network. So when it's splitting into bins, the bins are really small. Yeah. Yeah, these are random arrays, which means that in general we'll be splitting into bins that are evenly distributed. The numbers are going to get split across them. So we could probably just divide. Now, we're going to divide that into 256 parts. Let's say it's, which array was I looking at? 10 million. Divide it by 256. So you're going to have it into 256 bins, and then we're going to divide it by 256 again, which is going to be 655, whatever it is. So some fraction of that. We saw that it was using an 8 sorting network, which means that the bins are smaller, or no more than 8. So they got really small. So what we're probably going to see is that this divides really nicely. I must make that 00, so it's 65,000 something or other, whatever that power of 2 is. We do 2.5 times that again, and it's going to be divided into how many bins? Another half, so it's about 15,000, and then the hundreds. So about 15 million, and there we are there, 10 million. So have we done 3 splits? So we're looking at 256 times 256, and then 10 million. So it's 152 of them. So it's not the base case, it would have to do it a third time. And that's rubbish, right? So then you're going to end up with 152, and you split into 256 bins, each one of them. It's a lot of work. This is one of the bad cases. If we were doing it with 1 million, you're getting 1/10 of that, and so it's only 15. This is a mess. But it shows that for 1 million, we're going to get down to size 15, and that's where we'll see 32, that's 16 and 32. Yeah, okay. The array lengths are around that size, so it can use the base case. So it's doing it quite efficiently, whereas the 10 million one gets them really small. It's dividing things that are about 150 in length into much smaller ones and then doing a sorting network on tiny arrays. All right. Okay, so let's see top. What am I doing? List. So if we look at what it's actually doing, interesting. So it's spending loads of time doing the memory allocation. That's easy to optimize out. We just allocate once and reuse. And that's because it's doing it heaps of times, right? It's doing that whole extra layer of it where it's doing a partition like this for only 150 items. That's super inefficient. So that's 20% of the time. That still doesn't explain everything. This is slow. It's the exact same bottleneck. Oh, maybe it does. Maybe that's all the difference. It's 20% slower. But also the fact that it's doing this really low efficiency scan. So, and you see that down with the 100 ones, right? That's the really bad case. So we'd like our base case to cover that, so we don't, when we hit 150, it's inefficient. We shouldn't be doing it. We shouldn't be doing it using a partition. So let's shift it to using the quicksort for, say, it's better at 1,000. 800 or something? Yeah, let's just do that. Let's just do it. Alright, simple, my super ugly check. If in radix sort it's less than 800, let's just do a quicksort. Does that work? Alright, let's run some benchmarks. Probably screwing up the benchmark by recording at the same time. Yeah, well. Okay, there's the update. Yeah, it did it. I mean, there's still some issues. 800 is probably not the ideal spot, so I could search for the best place to switch between the sorts. I'm guessing it should be down around here. And then that one would be lowered as well. So we're still going to be worse than crumb sort, substantially better than scar in all cases. I'll just apply it to the other benchmarks as well now. Yeah, it's helped out with the 11 ascending sawtooth shape as well. It's looks like we've got to improve by about a factor of 2 to start really competing. Oh, okay, so something weird at 1,000 as well here. This is for 20 unique values. I won't look into that today, but that could be another one worth investigating. Reverse, still optimized. Ooh, yeah, the near sorted, so less than 800 is now using the quick sort, but there's still a big overhead for those sort of mid-sized arrays. I don't think I'm going to investigate that one anytime soon. What I want to do is focus on this. I feel like we've got a fair bit of room for optimizations of this sort, so might get onto that next time. Okay, so that's been a successful day, I think. And my next stop, I may well be doing a bit of Plan 9 assembly. Let's see how we go. Cheerio.